Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show today. What we're going to do here is a sheep farm test. I basically have, I think it's 6 to 7 of each sheep in each pen of varying colors. And I want to test to see how well this system works. Now, before I do that, there's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I want you to join me while I figure this out. Every time I come up here and work, I hear zombie sounds. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is or whatever. There's no zombies around, so there's got to be something underneath us, a cave or something. So what I'm going to propose we do is go figure it out. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to go figure it out. So there's obviously something down here. Sounds like quite a bit of zombies. If we're lucky, what that means is there's a spawner down here. And if there's a spawner not too far from the surface, right underneath my hello. Whoa, hey, whoa, relax. I'm just checking it out for now. I don't want to fight you yet. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. Oh well, I just might as well kill him, shouldn't I? Kill, die. If there is a sheep farm basically this close, or a sheep farm, if there is a zombie spawner essentially this close to my sheep farm, you can hear my sheep right above us. If this is the case, then you know what? We might be really lucky, because if we're around our sheep farm enough, we'll have a really good ability to build a mob spawner right in our general area. I have to tell you, I'm really excited about this. I have to tell you. But if we find it, we'll go right back up to the testing, and we'll leave this thing for now. This place is just full of... like, I'm sure we're less than 10 blocks from the sheep farm at this point. Alright. Whoa. What's going on here? I don't think there is a monster spawner, because I can't see any. I can't see anything. Does it look? What is it? Does it look like they're coming from somewhere? It's hard to tell. Oh, they're definitely coming from around the corner there. Let's check this out. What do we got over here? Oh, yes! We have a spawner. Excellente. That is excellent. Nice. I have to tell you, I am so excited, but I ran out of torches and... okay, and it's dark outside. Okay, I'm gonna cut away. I'll be right back. I'm gonna finish lighting up that mob spawner and we'll get back to the test. Okay, essentially what I've done is I came down and I kind of went around the roof here and I lit it up, and I haven't even looked in the chests yet. But this guy, I don't know what he's stuck or something. So let's finish with this. That should be good. Let's see what this stuff is. Buckets, gunpowder, wheat, string. That's cool. More string, redstone. It's alright. It's alright. Let's see here. Let's get back to our wheat farm now. Okay, we have a couple little sheeps here that I wanted to make sure we had 6 and 7 of each around 6 to 7 of each in each pen, so I had a couple more to feed and mate there, because I want to make this consistent for each pen. So, like I said, we've got every color of wool of sheeps that have been dyed, sheep that have been dyed. And this is probably the second progression of my sheep farm. It's the second version. I'll make sure I include a link or something to my other two versions, or my earlier versions, just so you can see the progression of the sheep farm. But it's very, very easy to basically make a sheep farm. All you do is you find some sheep in the wild, you use this wheat, and if you notice, they're quite attracted to me, and if I let them out of their pens, they would follow me, and which is how I all got them into their pens in the first place. So originally I had all my pens down here, and I lured a bunch of sheep, and I figured out how to make a bunch of dyes. And when I had two sheep in each pen, I basically dyed them both the color that I needed them to be. As you can see here, I've already collected some wool. Maybe what I'll do is hold on to this stuff for now, as we're about to do our test. And after dyeing two of them, I just started mating them. And before I did that too long, I think I had maybe 2 or 3 each in those pens, but I found that collecting wool from them was really frustrating. You weren't guaranteed to be able to reach all the wool with the way the pens were designed. So I narrowed the pens, and I've crammed them. Now there's not much grass in here. There's only about 5 blocks of grass for them to feed from. But what I'm counting on is by the time I get from one end to the other, the grass will grow back. They will have already eaten it right after I've sheared them, and it'll be interesting to see how much wool they've regrown from one end to the other. So we'll keep track of that as well. So I'm going to do this over a time lapse. I don't really want you guys to have to watch me do this. I'm basically timing myself for 10 minutes. I'm going to have a timer going, and in that 10 minutes I'm going to shear and collect as much wool as possible. And also what I want to do is see how much regrowth happens after 10 minutes as well. So we're about to start. I think we still have a couple little guys here. So I'll just pause it, and when I come back on, we'll get started. I'll time it for 10 minutes. I don't know how, I turned down my volume quite a bit, but I'll just put it down maybe even a little bit lower, because I don't know how annoying that noises are getting. And back to the game. So when we get started, we'll have some epic wool collecting music by Kevin MacLeod. I'll pick a track for us, we'll listen to it as I do a time lapse of collecting this wool, and then afterward we'll see the results, because you know what, I bet you, I think from what I've been able to see about some automatic wool farms and stuff like that, the amount of time that would be needed to build an automatic wool farm, and some of them that I have seen don't even look that good to me. The amount of time that it would take to, like for example, having wolves that eat them, and then the wool drops from the wolves killing them, and then it collects into a system, but then you have to rebreed the sheeps. I find that, it's my opinion anyways, that I believe that this is more manual. It will take you 10 minutes to collect the amount, but the amount of time it would take you to go from site to site and rebreed sheeps and this and another thing for an automated farm, I think cancels out the benefits of it being automated. So I'm going to do a test, and I'm going to challenge anybody with an automated sheep farm, to contradict the results in a scientific manner, possibly, rather than just maybe being a troll and yelling at me and telling me I'm wrong. In any case, I'll see you as soon as we have a full-grown sheep, 6 to 7 in each pen, and we will get started. Go! Ladies and gentlemen, I decided to only do 5 minutes because it became apparent to me that the regrowth factors of this farm are somewhat limited, but that them only having 5 spaces, and that for the last 2 minutes or so I was really only getting maybe another 1 or 2 sheep per pen that were regrowing after I had kind of went through everything. So let's take a look at our numbers here. Looks like we averaged, I don't know, about 20 to 30 wool per color on average in total. Excuse me while I do some calculations here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back with some calculations. I have also adjusted my test a little bit, and I'll explain why. So what we have here is a total of 427 wool in 5 minutes, and the average is 27 wool per color. And if you want to calculate that rate per minute, is 87 wool in a minute. So that's pretty good for 5 minutes, 87 wool in a minute, even just 5 minutes in general to collect almost 500 wool. Now, there's a problem inherent in that due to regrowth rates and limited grass space for the sheep, we have to take into consideration that we're not going to have that same level of harvesting ability throughout the whole time we're going to harvest, potentially for an hour if we want to make an hourly average. So what I did is I did a second test run. I basically sheared all the sheep. I did 1 full clipping. I went and deposited all of that wool in a chest and started a timer and did another 5-minute segment after the fact and harvested during that 5 minutes at the regrowth rates. And the numbers I got for the regrowth rates were a total of 236 wool for that 5-minute section, which averaged out to about 15 wool a sheep, or a color I mean, and about 47 wool per minute. Now the total average, if we basically calculate the first 5-minute rate, and if we want to find an hourly average, so 12 times 5 is 60 minutes, so 12 blocks of 5 minutes. So 11 of those blocks of 5 minutes, we will use the average rate of 236 per those 5 minutes. And then we'll add on the 12th section of 5 minutes of our original collection rate of 427. And the number I get, folks, is 3,023 on average. So if you were to spend a good hour focused on collecting wool in this type of a sheep farm, you would be collecting approximately 3,000 pieces of wool per hour. So if you needed a lot of wool for a project, could be some math to help you out. Now, the strength of this system really relies on the fact of its design. I know that versus an automated system, I believe that this is superior. I do not think an automated farm could get any better at this, primarily because even though it's intensive, your rates are really high. And if you had an automated farm, and from what I understand, automated farms use things like killing sheep using either skeletons or wolves to eat them, and then collecting the wool, and then mating the sheeps and all that kind of stuff, but the time that it would take to do that within an hour I don't think would be as great as if you just basically did this manually. So I'm interested in hearing anybody who has an automated sheep farm to give me some numbers based on all of that. And as you'll see on the screen, I added some text just so that you can visualize and do the number crunching for yourself. And there you go. That being said, I haven't seen very many automated farms with any numbers posted, and I know that with an automated farm you don't need to be there at the time while it's harvesting. But it's still, I'm not sure. I think that for the first 5 minutes anyways, that this is a better system. But please prove me wrong. Give me a comment or a response. Sheep farm, the design of it as it stands, basically just so you get a bird's eye view here of our sheep farm. We have 4 pens by 4 lanes, each with 6 to 7 sheep in them of each color that I've dyed and mated to get to that point. And they're thinner because if you notice in my 5-minute kind of speed run there of collecting, that if they're any wider, the wool that kind of falls in the middle from the shearing that pops off the wool or pops off the sheep, you can't reach it. It won't be close enough for it to kind of be attracted to you and suck it into your inventory unless that gap is minimal. And with the thin lanes, it reduces that error. So you'll notice even though sometimes I'd go along this one side here and shear, some of them would pop off and be on the far side and I wouldn't collect them. But as I came around to this side and sheared, I would collect them. And basically just hugging the walls back and forth around each time, I ended up picking up all the pieces, which is the reason for that design. Okay folks, well, thanks for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this test. I look forward to any feedback, comments, suggestions, contrary opinions, possibly hearing about an automatic wheat farm that does better rates in terms of time. But I think for 5 minutes of work, essentially this is the best way to go. Also, we were lucky enough today to find a zombie spawner right underneath my sheep farm, so I have the added bonus of being able to have work to do, something to do while I wait for my mob grinder, my XP grinder, to collect a bunch of zombies. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. I can be getting 2 things done at once, which is great. Alright everybody, thanks again and happy Minecrafting.